Hello everyone. My name is Abhishek Dixit, and I manage the high performance computing and big data business for Fujitsu in the country. My colleague Pankaj Sharma, he manages the HPC and big data on the pre-sales perspective for us in the country. So just to start, we are today probably you heard about Andy's keynote. He talked about digital creation and digital technology, digital transformation. And I think probably we are touching one of the very important aspects of digital transformation, which is big data. Big data has probably, most of you would have heard about this thing in last couple of years. And suddenly this has become very important in our real world scenarios. And it is becoming more and more relevant. The technology is becoming more and more relevant. Technology is becoming more and more improvised in last couple of years. So big data as a word or a technology probably started in around 10 to 12 years back. Back again in US, in Silicon Valley with few engineers sitting at Google, Yahoo, and all of these social networking sites, where they were struggling with a big problem of how to read the information, which is more like an unstructured format. So they did a lot of work around it, and they could figure out a way in a manner or probably architectural way where they can put that information into a readable format. And that's how this information, this pile of information, unstructured information became a term which was called big data. And the symbol again of this technology is nothing but a big elephant, you know. So that big elephant represents the data that we have, the kind of data, the humongous data that we regularly deal with. So today we'll talk about that, and I think Pankaj will start with it. Pankaj will take over a few things on the technology side from me, and then I'll chip in with few case studies around it.
So thanks, Abhishek. So as you all have heard in the morning and in previous thing also, like digitization is the most important thing which is happening in the country, in the world. So I'll be touching off some of the part of that. So IoT, the AI, these are the most important thing which is happening, like Internet of the Things, artificial intelligence are the buzzwords we all are hearing. So what does IoT enable us? IoT helps us in gathering the data, like there are the different sensors, different things, different devices which can be connected to internet and which we can gather the data. So what it can help us in gathering the data which can be of any particular plant, any R&D facility or anything. Now what we could do that, what we could do with that data, unless we gather the insights of the data, what this information data have, what it can give to us. So to get that insight from the data, we need the big data. So that is what the importance of big data is. Whether we go into smart cities project, whether we go into facility management or any plant management or anything, everywhere we have data and we have to collect the information, get the information out of that data, so where we have to use the big data. So key industry touch points, like there are the three big problems which the industry is facing. First is to collect the data. Like there are the many devices. Data is increasing into three V's: volume, variety, and velocity. That's the speed. So data is increasing in heavy volume, different varieties, and at a heavy speed. With that data, we need a right platform, right device to collect the data, and to, after collecting data, to filter the data. Like there is, we all have heard, like a few years back, we must be talking about the different storage devices, like this can scale up to 500 terabytes, someone can go to 1 petabyte or something. If they are the different devices which can collect the data, but how to filter the data? Like I have collected the information, but it might happen out of 500 TB, only 100 TB is such data which is useful to me or for my organization. Now how to filter? So to gather the data, to collect the data is the first thing. Filter the data is the second thing. Now if I filter the data, how should I get the information or the insights from the data? That is the second challenge. Like how we can withdraw the information from the data. And third is the analysis. Even if I get the information from the data, how do I analyze it? Like 2 years back, what my organization was doing, how it was performing, what it is performing now. Any plant or anything where I was doing what the data symbolizes 2 years back and now. In the weather information, the same data could have predicted the tsunami earlier. Now if the same data is coming, whether it will predict or not, how to analyze. So all these things are the 3 challenges of the industry which we have to work. And the big data is the key answer for this, the single point which will solve all the problem. Like it helps us in the collecting data, filtering the data, getting the insight of the data, and then analysis of the data which can be useful to me. So in moving ahead in the digital world, like there are the 3, again the 4 challenges which are industries faced by the industry. First is the leadership and talent. It is difficult for any organization to find the right talent for the right technology, because technology is changing at a high pace. We as a people are not able to respond to that pace. So to retain the people who knows the right talent is the problem. Like 43% of the chief executive says or feels that technology, retaining the people who understand the technology is the biggest challenge. Then the security. Like every organization is having a big data, when we huge data. When we try to utilize or analyze that data, then the security of that data is another biggest problem. Then the complexity. As I said, that the technology is changing day by day. In every 6 months, there is a new technology coming up. We as a people or as a human cannot respond to that. Every set has a domain experts. So these are the complex problems, how to overcome that. Then the adaptation, like if any particular organization is comfort with X technology, then it will be difficult for them to adapt to the new technology, they will not. So what could be the answer to this? So Fujitsu is working together to give you answer to this technology, these problems. We feel at Fujitsu that the people, information and infrastructure should be a single window for you, for the people. So we provide the people who have a right talent, right knowledge for the skill set. We provide the information, that is the intellectual skill set, to solve all the problems what you face by you, and the infrastructure, that is the platform, the hardware, the OS, everything. So this is a single window where you will get all the solution for this. So what the big data is? Big data is empowering us to get us the hidden secrets out of the data. So whatever we could not see from the data till now, because we were not analyzing it, after the analysis we can get the smallest information from the data which can be useful to me. So the other big data is value chain problem is, like till now the issue with us was we have always structured data. Like whenever we say I have to gather some information, some query from the data, my data has to be structured. It should be in terms of some tabular form where I can read out of it. But big data give us a leverage where we don't need to have a data into structured format. We can have an unstructured format. I can have a text file, I can have audio, video, visuals. I can collect all them together, get the information out of these data and pass on to the user who can utilize the information. So all the data, whether structured, unstructured or semi-structured, I can use the data in the big data key value chain. So I'll hand over to Abhishek to take it further from here.
Thanks, Pankaj. Thanks a lot. So two key takeaways what Pankaj is trying to say, that it's a concept. It's a concept where people need to understand the use of technology, and it can be used by anybody and everybody. So what probably in the next few slides I'll try and show that which all industries and where all are the use cases for something like this. One very important factor we need to understand is the data. Probably right now each one of us are using smartphones, and each smartphone is probably having 32 GB or 64 GB of data. That itself is a big data, and all of you people when get connected, probably every day we are generating probably hundreds and petabytes of data, which probably 10 years back, that was the kind of data an organization used to generate over 50 years of period. So let's move back straight away why somehow big data has become a very relevant technology. Right now in the industry, this has become a mainstream enterprise technology. This is no more a novice technology, which is like in their development stages or the work is on for that. It is not a very enterprise-ready platform, and there are vendors, there are IT players who have already done that. There are 3 major players which we can name it probably right now, is like Cloudera, Hortonworks, and Mapr, who have made this the Hadoop infrastructure layer or the software layer as a very enterprise layer. But that doesn't solve the problem, because this is just one layer in the whole solution spectrum. As Fujitsu, what we are trying to do, we are not trying to push you as any hardware box or any hardware solution, but what we are trying to do is, we want to understand what is your customer problem, what is your workflow problem, and basis that problem statement that you can define to us, we can propose you different solutions around it. Because in this, a person who belongs to an oil and gas industry, person who belongs to financial technologies, or a person who belongs to manufacturing, all the three datas are different. And all the three data problems has to be managed in a different manner. Because since the data source is not common, the data formats are not common, it has to be done in different manner. And none of the organizations, practically I can tell you, none of the organizations in the current scheme of things, I can name my competition, they don't have the entire solution. What we are trying to do, we are trying to solve your problem basis and understanding and creating an ecosystem to solve that problem. Now let me go back to the use cases which we can refer. So this is a vertical snapshot that which industry could potentially utilize this. Finance, public sector, automotive, transportation, retail, social analytics, sentiment analysis, all of that, there are a lot of buzzwords around it. This is a vertical snapshot. Cybersecurity recently has become very, very popular. You might be seeing that government is trying to do a lot of linkages of Aadhaar, this, that, PAN card getting linked to Aadhaar and all those things. Your phone conversation is very important. WhatsApp data getting tracked. Some security agencies taking information from the logs, which particular person is at which place at which point of time. So all this is becoming very, very important in terms of detection of cybersecurity. Next comes the fraud detection. Fraud. 8th of November is a very historical day probably in everybody's life who in last 2 years or so. Modi government is really trying to prove it's good, bad and all that. The data that got generated with demonetization exercise and which is among with the banks, it's again, the data is getting analyzed through a big data infrastructure. It's not getting analyzed through a normal Oracle database or typically the SAS analytics and all that. It is getting utilized, it is getting analyzed through big data infrastructure. Aadhaar is currently the world's biggest database for Hadoop infrastructure. It is globally the biggest database for Hadoop analysis. It's a live example which is being done in India. Okay, so that is becoming, the technology is becoming that more relevant. Sentiment analysis. You go and read your Facebook post and all those things, and if somebody is trying to, the kind of post that you make onto your Facebook or a Twitter or these handles, that information can also be tracked and can be converted into some kind of pattern and can be described as the problem scenario or a problem situation. Probably a lot of terrorist activities that do happen, or some kind of chaos, or some kind of a chaotic situation in any place, or some kind of a disaster or something at place. Governments are tracking that information and trying to get intelligence around that. Probably a Twitter can be much more faster. A tweet can be much more faster than a sensor sensing the information of an earthquake. So that is the real world technology which is being utilized by Fujitsu in countries like Japan and Finland. So these are the practical cases that we are utilizing. Predictive analysis, again, coming back to the manufacturing, this was something, again, Andy was referring. He was talking about the wind tunnels, wind turbines utilizing the big data technology for detecting the flaws which are there onto those wind turbine fans. Again, a big use of big data as a technology combined with AI and IoT and all of these. So now again, probably I'll hand it over to Pankaj to make it a little bit more relevant for you guys on the technology perspective in the real world.
So till now, you must have realized how big elephant is for the big data. Like it can solve your daily problems, what we were not able to see. Whatever in our country today we are dreaming of to become a developed, be it a smart city, be it any automation, be it intelligence, everywhere we are utilizing the big data stuff. So going a little bit in depth of this technology. So what the big data is, big data help us in both ways, like it can help us in the batch processing and the event processing platform as well. So what we can do, we need a cleanse, transform, analyze and visualize. So these are the 4 things which we need from the big data technology. It will help us to cleanse the data, like if I have 100 TB of the data, I need to cleanse it, what data is important for me. For example, as Abhishek has told, the demonetization part, right? You can think of it, there are so many banks in India, in thousands. In each bank, there are the thousands of accounts. So if we want to have detect any fraud transaction during the demonetization period, if you want to cross-check the records of the banks, it will take years for us. But this is what the big data has helped us or the government to detect all these things in few months of time, just by putting up the query on the data, who has done this much transaction, and the result was so fast that within months, we are able to track the people who has done the wrong transactions, which could not have been possible in years if we were in the manual records or in the Excel sheet. So this is what the fast thing is. We can do, cleanse the data, transform the data in our own requirement, and then analyze and visualize the data together. So what Fujitsu provides you in all these things, cleanse, transform, analyze, visualize, we have our own tie-ups with the different OEMs at the global level, at the local level, at the country level or the region level, and we will provide you the altogether a bundled integrated solution, a single window right from the design to the services. So what is the Hadoop readiness? Like as the in the PrimeFlex thing, what Ganot took in a previous presentation, he also told about the PrimeFlex, which is an integrated solution from Fujitsu for different technologies. He told that one solution cannot fit for your own requirement. That is what the big data itself says. Every organization has their own data. Somebody will have sensor data, somebody will have oil data, somebody will have different plants or the production data. So different organization will have a different requirement. So there cannot be a one-stitched solution for you that this is a box, you take it and it will solve your problem. No. Big data is always a tailored solution which will be made it, seeing your data, seeing your requirement, we will stitch the solutions for you. Then, as I said, the IT department which are working currently, it might have happened that they might not be ready to take up the new technology because of the skill set, because of their adaptation, because of the problem what we may face. So as a Fujitsu, we will handhold the entire organization right from the IT team to the users to use the technology. We will have a business, have a business requirement from you and then build the solution accordingly. So the PrimeFlex is the ready-made solution from our side which will help you to get your own requirement. It will provide you right from the service, consulting, software stack, until the end, the user level. Like we will help you in the consulting right from the day one, whether your data is a big data ready or not, whether you can utilize it for the analysis or not, how much the platform or how much the sizing you need, then the software stack, which software you need for the analysis, that we will choose it to you for your requirement and give it to you. Then the Hadoop out of Cloudera, Mapr or other available platforms, which one suits you best. So it is an end-to-end analytics solution for you. You just need to tell us your problem statement. You just need to tell the domain which you are working, and then we will build up the altogether a stitched solution for you. It is a ready-made solution for us, like you can just start and using, take it to your premises, we will integrate and then you can start using it. So we can conduct a big data assessment workshop from you from the day one when you want to shift it to you, whether you need it or not. Then the strategy consulting, analytic, Hadoop, and the integration services. These all things will be done by Fujitsu for you, giving you a single window. You need not to go to any other vendor for the visualization tool or analytics tool or any other thing. It will be provided to you by Fujitsu only. So in summary, it is an integrated solution with analytic capability and visualization features, like the platform which will collect the data, the hardware which will help you to compute the data, the tools which will use for the analytics, and at last the visualization tool which will give you or the help the management to take the decisions or the decision support system will be provided by Fujitsu. So these are the few case studies which we have done worldwide globally. So DKFZ is the major, like this is one of the German Cancer Research Institute, where we have helped the bio experts to do the research in the cancer area. Like bio experts are the domain experts, they don't know about the IT. They just want to do their work. So we have enabled them to do their research in the cancer just by providing them and do the research on their own data. Then Meteomatics is again a German weather department, where they are able to predict about the weather or the tsunami or any other thing better and faster with the help of big data. So this is a use case for the German Cancer Institutes, where at the end we are able to provide those guys a spreadsheet where they can get their results. Rather than going into saying how this is done or what is doing, they are simply bothered about their results. So that's all from our side today. Thanks a lot.